Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate.
I haven't talked to y'all since last year. Aha, aha, aha,
Oh,
Boo.
aha. All right, let's get to it.
all right. Ferny, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm gonna hit the intro. Thank you for welcoming us onto your screens or onto your headphones. I'm Eddie, and I'm joined by
I'm Chema.
I'm Ferny.
and and today we're reviewing Godzilla Minus One, and this is the rollback. Japan is already devastated by war when a new crisis emerges in the form of a giant monster. Godzilla Minus One released like a month ago, 2 months ago, quickly becoming a box office juggernaut, at least for Toho. It's already become the highest grossing Godzilla film ever made at $80 million worldwide, which, granted, the American version of Godzilla has grossed more, but for a movie from Japan, 80 million is a lot of money. They what, tripled, quadrupled, octupled their money almost? No, sextupled their money. Around there. Anyway, so Godzilla Minus One. I was looking forward to this film for a very long time. Um,
I had no idea what movie this was.
Fair enough. Chema?
I first heard about this movie a few months ago, and then I started to hear a lot of really interesting comments about it. That apparently it was very soulful, that it had very interesting character moments, and that it had probably one of the best Godzillas ever made. And I was curious. I was interested. I heard really good things. Finally got to see it a couple weeks ago. I think like 2, 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and a little bit before we went on break. And they were absolutely right. This movie was a fucking delight. This is cannot believe that a movie like this made me feel so many emotions. That it was so easy to follow. That it was so greatly written, and that it represented the strength and invincibility of the human spirit. And this really shows a big difference between perspectives, because a little bit before this, we got the trailer for Godzilla X Kong. And, it ended with that, like the two of them running towards each other, like on the same side and
Not
about to
towards each
fight
other, with each other.
with each other. You're right. Next to each other. And that got me pumped. But then this also got me pumped, which probably means that I just really like big monsters. But this, man, I did not expect to like it as much as I did. The lack of expectations really helped, but Jesus Christ, what a fantastic experience. I would be so happy if this would have been my last movie theater experience of the year. Sadly, it was Aquaman, but this was a good. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't see that one and that I saw this one. Yeah, easy spoilers, but like easiest 10 out of 10 that I've ever seen. Like this was
Yeah.
amazing. Bernie,
Bernie, I remember you messaged me on Telegram that you said Godzilla Minus One is a masterpiece. Elaborate, please, Fernie. Elaborate.
Uh, I didn't really plan on seeing this movie. I hadn't heard jack shit about it, to be honest. And it really came down to, do I feel like reading subtitles? And then I was like, fuck it, I'll go see it. I think a clip had popped up on TikTok of the opening,
Mhm.
and I was like, that looks kind of interesting. This gets me a little tickled in my pickle, and I went to go see it.
And
Did it
It
give
was
you
all
a big
right.
tickle on your pickle?
No, it was good. No, I mean for a movie that, because I mean the Godzilla movies that we saw as kids, the Japanese ones, like I mean they're all filled with the fucking silly ass, Americanized versions of them. But even with a movie with a language barrier, you're still able to feel those emotions of like, I forget, honestly I forgot every single character's name, but I did really love the movie. I thought the movie was really well done. But you feel like the guy's personal struggles of being a kamikaze pilot and not wanting to fucking do that shit because who wants to be a kamikaze pilot and having to deal with raising this kid and being with this woman that he loves, but he feels like he doesn't deserve love, and then having to deal with a fucking monster in the middle of all this goddamn crisis. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting movie. I liked it.
So just like some quick backstory. The new Godzilla films, at least so far, they're 2 for 2. The Godzilla movies have always tried to have some kind of message. Like Godzilla versus Hedorah was about,
You mean
the
like Message and Don't Be a Menace in South Central?
could be. Well, just Don't Be a Menace to South Central include a message about the environment, because that's what Godzilla versus Hedorah was about.
Mm. I didn't see
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla, so I thought this one was gonna be like a sequel to it. So I was like, I think originally I was like, I can't watch this movie. I haven't even seen the other one.
I thought
So
that too before seeing this, but then it turned out that it wasn't. So we're pretty
Yeah,
much
it's a complete
good. I did
standalone movie.
see, I did see, Shin Godzilla, and I mean it's a good. It makes for good back-to-back movies. I will say that.
I think
I
this
actually
one's Atomic Breath animation though was a lot better.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think, well, see, this movie is meant to be a paired watch. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to watch Oppenheimer and then this film.
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna say what. How do I say this? So I went to see this on a date, and when the movie ended, my date kind of turned to me and went, "This is the movie that Oppenheimer wishes it was."
Oh, I
She
love it
just
that
went
much
like,
more.
she just went like, Oppenheimer fucking wishes, man. Like, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. This man, the thing about look, I liked Oppenheimer. I liked it more than her did, more than she did. But yeah, this I like my allegories and I like my messages. I like them behind metaphors. I don't really like to be spoon-fed. And Godzilla is a great metaphor for anything tragic because it makes you both root against him and for him. Because throughout the whole movie, you're thinking like, God damn it, the tragedy. But then when Godzilla is like, just breaking shit with his tail, you're also thinking like, get him, Scylla, like fucking get him, like we are not worth it, like just
I
fucking
never
get them.
thought I was never rooting for Godzilla at any point in this film. This is one
Yeah, I
of the
was
few
like,
times
man,
where I rooted
Godzilla's a real
against him.
fucking asshole.
Like, and he's just doing it for shits and giggles. He doesn't
I mean,
have to knock down those buildings. He just
he
fucking did it.
doesn't he doesn't get the politics, he doesn't get trauma, he doesn't get like he doesn't understand any of that. He's a fucking lizard, like he doesn't know any of that shit. So
What's
there is like a part of you that's going like, get him, Scylla, like
And this
fuck him
movie
up.
started off like a fucking horror movie.
so
Yeah.
I,
So,
I
sorry, somebody made this comparison. They were like, the first third of this movie is Jurassic Park. The second third of this movie is Jaws, and the third third of this movie is Dunkirk. And that's kind of perfect.
I see
Um,
it.
I've
yeah.
never seen Dunkirk.
Um, oh my God.
I tried watching it and then I fell asleep and I never gave it another shot.
You didn't miss too much. I like Dunkirk, but it's not a must watch. It's not Interstellar or Inception. But
Interstellar's overrated, but you know.
fair.
Um,
Okay.
uh,
So
yeah.
word to the wise, gentlemen, I will be overloading you with facts about Godzilla because this is my goddamn franchise. Probably almost as much as DC Godzilla. So to start, the movie opens with a kamikaze pilot Kochi. That's what we'll call him. I think I pronounced that correctly. Landing on a Japanese base on Oda Island. Any Godzilla fan knows in the original in 1954, that's where they found him. Like it's on Odo Island, the legend of this creature that they, have sacrifices to. They'll throw cows into the ocean or, a woman on a boat, like, hey, you're this year's sacrifice. Sorry. Throw her out to sea. In exchange, he brings the deep fish that they can feed on. Um, Odo Island, it becomes a not military base, but like a repair stop. A kamikaze pilot lands, and he says, "Oh, there's something wrong with the plane," and the mechanics can't find anything wrong.
Like, who gives a shit, dude? You're fucking crashing a plane into something. Who gives a fuck if something's wrong with the plane?
Well, Tachibana, the actual mechanic, even says like he agrees with him. He agrees with Koshi. He says we need more people like you. Like this war is lost. Why are you sacrificing your life? He initially agrees with them, but that
Yeah.
night Godzilla appears, and it's not the Godzilla that we know. This version is
He's a
maybe
mean little fucker.
well, Little is right. He's what, maybe 5 stories, if that, 5 to 7 stories, maybe.
He's like a pretty scary fucking size still, but like he's not as big as what he
He's not
comes
a
out to
god.
be.
He's
Yeah.
not oversized like in the MonsterVerse, which I made that criticism in a video. But yeah, he's he's an asshole. He doesn't eat the guys when he's attacking the soldiers.
Just
He
kills
doesn't
him.
eat them. Yeah, he's just like, oh, get the fuck off my land. And it's crazy because you don't know. At one point, Kochi is given an order to get to his plane, use his 20 millimeter gun to cut down Godzilla. At that point, he hasn't been hit by the radiation. For all we know, it could have worked. We don't know. It might have, but Koji, understandably, I think freezes. Can't shoot, doesn't shoot, and the director even went on record as stating that Godzilla recognized Kochi was in the plane, but because he didn't fire, he didn't kill him. Like he's like, all right, this guy's not a threat.
What
I'm gonna
about the
keep
dudes
going.
running away for their lives that didn't shoot?
Fuck him,
I mean,
kids.
they're all wearing white, so fuck them all.
What about Godzilla
Oh,
recognizing those poor helpless souls?
fuck them. I mean, they look the same, so he's like, oh, okay, all the dudes in white are
Wow, they
threats.
all look the same?
They're all wearing a white uniform, Ferny. Jesus,
Jesus.
any goddamn
You're
way.
problematic, dude.
Fuck off. Anyway, the next day we wake up. Kochi wakes up and sees all the dead bodies strewn around. The only surviving pilot being Kachibana, which he had
He
this
wasn't a pilot.
horrifying.
He was a mechanic.
Oh, thank you, mechanic. He has this
Little
horrifying
kid.
scream at one point where like his mouth is drooping and he's drooling,
Uh-huh.
like top tier fucking acting. I will go on record as stating that. And he shames him. He says, "If you had just done what you were supposed
Shame.
to."
I'm sorry. I can only think of it was a fucking show where they're like, shame, shame.
Game of
Yeah.
Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole goddamn time he goes back home, they still shame him. His neighbor, God, what's his neighbor's name? Not Noriko.
Oh, the
Noriko's the
lady,
woman he
the one
saves.
that lost like all her kids. No.
Yes. Miss Sumiko. Sumiko, that's her name.
Yeah.
Underrated character. She has not received the same praise as everyone else, but like she's mad because she tells him, if you had just done your job, we wouldn't have lost the war. Because she's been fed this government fed propaganda of if our men were better, we could have won. Like, yeah, shame the soldiers that are coming back that managed to live. Yeah, because that's smart.
Hey
Yeah.
man, if I got put in a fucking position of being a suicide bomber, I probably wouldn't do it either. Be like, fuck this, I'm leaving. Get me in a plane. I'll fucking land somewhere. I'll leave.
Chema?
Yeah, this was great introduction to the characters and the setup and everything that will eventually come back at the end. Because Koichi has this whole thing, has this whole arc. And they make this very, very sentimental and very specific for this character where he feels this great shame. He felt shame even before he landed that plane. He felt shame, like he knew that he was escaping. He moved away from his post, and that's kind of eating him the entire movie. And that when like a key word in this movie is like live, like dare to live, like you survived, might as well live. And he feels like he has a debt to repay or a war to finish, which is another key word that comes back at the end. um Great introduction. I really like how the character is introduced, and yeah, the fact that we have the neighbor shaming him back home. Like he wants to get his life back together, but there's no life to get back into. And that's where we move into him meeting Noriko, who becomes his partner. He meets her with a baby who is not hers either. And they become kind of like a weird
Found
makeshift
family?
found family kind of thing. And
Pretty sure you can make a sitcom intro out of that. Here's a boy,
yeah.
and he runs into a girl with a baby.
It's not their baby. What are they supposed to do? She's poor and he has
Is
PTSD.
what Three's Company or Three Little Orphans? Is that what we're calling the show?
The fuck are you? What the fuck is this company?
I don't know. It's an American show.
Yeah.
But yeah, this little found family.
Are you implying that I don't know your media? Like,
You just said the fuck is Three Company. The fuck
like
is
I
Three's
know,
Company.
but like it's not a generation thing, so
I don't know. I just know the term.
Fuck. Anyway, so they become kind of like a weird makeshift family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to, get by little by little. He gets a job becoming so I like this. I really like this because this takes place after World War II, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bombs dropped.
Yeah,
Because they have
so
the Japanese defense thingamabob. The
yeah.
only thing that they're allowed to have because the United States told them they're gonna have a standing army anymore.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have this thing. So he gets a job on a boat, pretty much picking up and getting rid of the bombs that were left in the ocean. And this is where the movie kind of catches a new wind, and it becomes kind of like Jaws. Like we see this crew on a boat, and they're talking, they're telling stories a little by little. It's becoming also kind of like a found family. He starts to find some normalcy in having a job and bringing some money back to support himself, Noriko, and the little girl, which is called Akiko. And little by little, we get like a little montage of them growing and making a bigger house, and their neighbors also regrouping and making also their houses bigger. And there's a little bit of normalcy that comes back. I loved the crew from the boat. I like how every character, like you could pinpoint like their personalities, how they were. My favorite being Doc. I think that's what they call him. He was my
There's
favorite.
Doc, the captain, and the kid. But you can just call
Yeah,
him that.
yeah, they were
I like the
super
captain.
fun. I like the captain. I like the kid. The kid has a great emotional scene near the end, but the doc was a super fun character. The minute that I saw him, I went like, "Oh, he's gonna be the standout." Like I already know. Um, but little by little, we see them and then the story starts to move forward when we come back to the emotional stuff. And weirdly enough, throughout this entire section, I did not miss Godzilla. Like during these scenes, I knew for a fact that while they were making them, I knew that they did not want the audience thinking like, get back to the lizard. I was enjoying my time with these characters. I like how they were going through, and I like how the story moved because after some time of them regrowing and getting the group back, we have this dinner scene back at the house where he invites the crew and they're having dinner. And so one of them makes a comment about like, oh no, I wouldn't get near her. She's a married woman. And that's when they say like, oh, we're not married and that's not our kid. Like they start to like mention the situation. And here's how you know that we do never talk about shit, because you're telling me that this guy worked with these three guys and it never came up like, oh yeah, I'm not married, but I live with a woman and we also live with a baby, but it's not our kid. Like it never came up.
Nope. Not
No,
once.
that shit doesn't come up. Like you work with someone every day for months, maybe a year, and you never mention.
I mean,
That's the definition of my personal life's my personal life.
Then why bring them to your home?
maybe that was the first time visiting, I guess. I don't know. They're good. They're
Maybe,
drinking
yeah.
buddies.
I'm guessing. It's like the first time over, but
They-
like I don't know. I just found it really funny. Like it never came up. Really?
Um, no, well, I mean, I like how you're right. It never comes up, but also it kind of dives into the whole guilt trip where it's like, why aren't you married? And he even tells the little girl Noriko, no, not Noriko,
Akiko.
Akiko, right?
Akiko. Yeah.
Akiko, yeah. He even says she calls him daddy, and he says, "I'm not your father." And
All
all three
right,
dudes are like,
dude. She's a kid. Like you might as well just let her call you that.
"Yeah." But I love how that starts to set the tone of like he can't let himself be happy. Like he has this guilt. He even has a dream at one point, and he asks, "Like, am I awake? Am I here? Or am I dead?" because the PTSD is that bad. He's not sure if he died in the war. And while this is happening, we get a montage of the bombings of Bikini Atoll, of Godzilla being mutated by the bomb that gets dropped, and how multiple warships have been taken down, heading towards Japan. However, due to the Soviet conflict, America will not intervene. They pretty much tell Japan, "You're on your own. Figure it the fuck out." And that's when he kind of begins to he tells Noriko, I don't remember if it was before or after, about Godzilla. No, it's after. I'm sorry. So him and the crew are sent out to try and stall Godzilla while they wait for a heavy cruiser Takeo? I did the heavy cruiser to try and fight Godzilla. They end up getting chased, which he looks fucking mean in this. His eyes are terrifying. Was anyone else scared of this Godzilla design?
Yeah, I was like, this fucking Godzilla looks like a mean son bitch.
This is still like that scene with the giant head going towards them and them oh God. What a I am obsessed. I am obsessed with giant, slow moving monsters. Like the ones that really make you feel like they're there because of the weight and everything. And to me, the
And
closest thing that I've had that like filled that like need is the video game Shadow of the Colossus. Like to me, that's the closest thing that we got. But that scene with the giant head like slowly like moving towards them and like you can feel like any second you could fall into those teeth. It's absolutely wonderful.
well, and let's jump into more of this. So the director of this film was also the writer, also the head of CG of the special effects. He's actually a former special effects director. Toho famously pre Shin Godzilla always had two directors on the films. It was one for the monster scenes and the special effects, and one for the human drama. Right? They were never to interfere with each other. Shin Godzilla, I'm assuming that the director of Shin Godzilla handled all of it. Same thing with this. The VFX director was getting frustrated with the fact that it didn't look the way he wanted. So he said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So he actually like brought a bed, lived in the office, and was working on the film constantly to get the look that he wanted. That chase scene of Godzilla's head is not practical in any capacity. It is fully CGI.
So Shin Godzilla did have two directors, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah. Hideaki Anno and someone else. I only remember Hideaki Anno because he created Evangelion. But
Yeah.
this guy Takashi Yamasaki.
Mhm.
So I trust him because he did the Lupin the Third, the first CGI movie, and
Mhm.
it is fucking wonderful. To me, that is the movie that killed CGI animated movies because no, there's not gonna be a single Pixar style looking movie that looks better than that one. I mean, also a great introduction to Lupin the Third. It's a fucking great movie. Um,
Lupin the
so
Third,
yeah,
the
so
first.
yeah, just look up Lupin the Third first. It's a like you could not believe that the Lupin the Third designs will look that good on CGI, and they look amazing.
Oh shit! Now I gotta watch this movie. I like Lupin
Yeah,
the
it's
Third, the original anime.
yeah. This one is great, and it's a good reintroduction to the characters. But he directed Godzilla Minus One, and yeah, like you can tell that this had a singular vision, like a way that it wanted to look, because there's never a scene that feels convoluted or like there's like or that there's like arguing going on in the script or something. There always seems to be straight, and I like that. I like that there was a comfortableness there. I like that there was that because after that chase scene and after Godzilla destroys that helicarrier looking battleship thing, we have probably one of the best like needle drops like in a movie because the moment when Godzilla starts attacking the city and Noriko like turns from the subway and says like it's Godzilla and you hear the theme song start playing
Mhm.
and you see him like slowly just crawling toward oh my god. Oh god. Last year we saw 10. And to me, Saw 10 had like the best like drop of the theme song. this is a close, maybe replace that, but it's a close second because Jesus Christ, what a great use of the Godzilla theme song, and what a great scene overall. Like that destruction scene was amazing.
Right?
Oh, I love the use of the theme song in this one. Because, like, I mean, you want, like, I was watching King of the Monsters recently because after I saw Minus One, I went on a Godzilla kick. And King of the Monster uses the theme, but it's never like in this capacity. And in this capacity, like, you actually hear it. I don't know, in King of the Monsters, you kind of faintly hear it at times, but this one like uses it really well. I think it's absolutely nuts that the fucking scene where they're being chased on the boat isn't practical. I thought it was practical, but nope. CGI is nuts.
He supposedly the water alone took up 500 gigabytes. Just the water. Like just the water
Jesus
parts.
Christ.
Yeah, so you can imagine like how heavy how much data this movie took. Um what's called fun so a few fun facts. So in the original Godzilla in 1954, when they were planning out the destruction scene of Tokyo, right? They couldn't do the whole city, right? They had to pick and choose what miniatures, where to put more attention. There's a legendary theater in Tokyo, sorry, in Ginza, I'm sorry, in the Ginza district, where they were showing Godzilla, but it's a very famous theater. It still stands today. You would see it in Shin Godzilla, it being destroyed. It's historic. Um, in 1954, when the movie was happening and they were showing it at that theater, the folks in the crowd saw the theater and saw it get destroyed, and some of them freaked out. They were like, "Oh shit!" Is it like it because they had
Like,
never
is he
seen something like this
here?
before? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in this film, I love that we saw him destroy the theater again. Like, for the hardcores, I was like, chef's kiss. Like, the people that made this film did their homework and know the big things that matter to the fans, right? And it's something that, non-fans are just gonna be like, "That's cool." Hardcores are like, "Thank you for doing those little things." There's some more of that later on.
Mhm.
But yeah, this destruction scene happens. He's destroying Ginza. Um, Noriko gets found by Kochi. He's trying to get her out of the city. And then that's when Godzilla decides to be the biggest asshole and uses his atomic breath in a scene that famously mirrors an actual atomic bomb going off. The explosion coming out, Noriko pushes Kochi into in between a building to save him, and she gets flown like
Yeah.
hundreds hundreds of feet in the ensuing explosion. Um, Kochi comes out, can't find her. The city's completely wrecked. Godzilla just roars into the atomic bomb, and we get the black rain. Which, if you don't know, after the atomic bomb happened, black rain began to come down. It was actually very radioactive and was infecting people. The black rain. So that another scene that brings back the destruction of the atomic bombs.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that
Godzilla.
Also,
I mean that animation of Godzilla charging up his atomic bomb, probably the best one I've seen.
Yeah, the slow charge and then just a boom.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I think I still prefer the one from Shin Godzilla just a little bit more.
because of
Just a
all the
little bit
beams
more.
or what?
Just because all the spectacle surrounding it, man, and because of the practicality, it's a suit, and,
Oh,
this.
no, Shin Godzilla famously
You're
used almost
telling me Shin Godzilla, that wiggly boy, you're telling me that was all CGI.
yes.
Well, I
They
kind of
they
respect
o-
it more, and it
they
kind of
only
looks a little
used
bit better than this one, I think.
they only used two parts where it was practical and it was a massive puppet for the head that could move for close-up shots
Okay, yeah,
and
that makes sense
and a
because that
piece of
looks
skin that
amazing.
they could get close to, and that was it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I still prefer the blast from Shin Godzilla just a little bit more, just because of the spectacle. But everything else, I really prefer this one. Great scene also when Koichi gets hit with the black rain and does this amazing yell. Like this guy,
Painful yell.
yeah, this guy is super young. He's 30 and he's acting his ass off in this movie, and he's been acting his entire life, and it's amazing to see him like finally in like a something this big because he's been doing voices for Studio Ghibli movies since he was a child. So
Makes sense.
now the fact that he's leading this, it's really cool to see. Um
So
yeah, so yeah.
another quick thing. Noriko and Kochi, the actors, have actually worked together for years on a like a daytime drama in Japan. That's why they had such good chemistry and were able to work together and be so comfortable with each other. Because they've known each other for years. It's like working with your friend.
Makes
Nice.
sense. Yeah.
So let me give my quick rating. If I had to rate this movie, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Masterpiece. Loved it. Great Godzilla movie. I would definitely recommend, and more than likely I'm gonna end up buying it on Blu-ray. More than likely 4K because that's how much I liked it.
Damn, that's a hell of a financial commitment.
Give me
All
a
right.
Criterion collection of this. I want it. All right,
All right, folks.
so
And we're back.
so we're left. There's a scene that follows this where we go back to the house, which they had finally rebuilt, made it into almost like a uh almost 2 stories little house with more
It was a
space.
cute little home.
It was a cute little home, and they got back to it, and it's destroyed. And it stands, but it's destroyed. It's got holes and everything. And we see the crew back. We see the neighbor back. We see Akiko back. And what a heartbreaking scene, like having to comfort your not daughter and be like, your not mother is not here. Just we'll see.
Matt, I'll tell you this right now. Nikki gave me the dirtiest fucking look when Noriko died. She just gave me the dirtiest look of like,
You
you
brought me
piece
to
of
this.
shit. And I had to play it straight. Not no spoilers yet, but I had to play it straight. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, Noriko's dead and
I mean,
and
dead. Yeah.
dead. And
Yeah.
Kochi kind of has to reconcile, like, am I not allowed to be happy? Because right before, I wish we had talked about this. He has another breakdown after he saw Godzilla. Noriko comforts him. And then Kochi says, like, can I move forward? Can I be happy? Almost like there's a great scene in the Phantom. God, what's it called? Mask of the Phantasm. I'm sorry. In Batman Mask of the
Yeah.
Phantasm, Bruce Wayne is after he's happy with
The
what's her name? Not,
woman.
yes, I can't remember her name.
It's okay. You can just say the woman.
No. Mask of the Phantasm. I need to look it up now.
The
Mask
phantasm.
of the
Spoilers.
Phantasm. Andrea Beaumont. Okay.
Yeah.
Once he's happy with her, he's seen crying at his grave, and he says, "I'll give the police all the money so they can hire more cops." Like, I didn't plan on this. I didn't plan on being happy. Like, can I do this, please? Like, release me from this promise I made you. This tragedy. Koji has a similar moment with the soldiers that died on Odo Island. Am I not allowed to be happy? Am I not allowed to move forward with my life? Does this have to define who I am? Everything. Um, so Noriko's dead, and they decide a local citizens group is gonna form a plan to try and take down Godzilla, to which obviously Kochi is very much, I am in, sir. Um, so due to government inaction, citizens group forms a plan led by the doc, which also the doc is very reminiscent of the zoologist from the original. That camera is the same exact model from the original film. It's just, again, the little things.
Yeah.
Uh, and he presents this brilliant plan, which in every film, what is it? We bomb him. We bomb him harder. What are we gonna do? We're gonna bomb him even fucking harder than that. Even the American movies, what do? That was megatons, not kilotons. In this film, a brilliant plan to crush Godzilla in 2 different ways. They're gonna drown him. They're gonna sink him, I think, 1,500 meters instantaneously. And if that doesn't kill him, they're gonna raise him up. That way, the explosive decompression should like implode him.
Yeah.
Brilliant plan, but they don't know if it's gonna work. And it's so practical. It's such a realistic plan that, again, fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah. I am slowly relearning that my favorite genre, or like my favorite extra thing to add to a movie, is if
Science.
there's no fucking phones. Um, because the fact that this movie was a period piece, because it took place like after after World War II. Like the whole year, all the movies that I love the most are movies where I cannot tell that it's takes place now. So
Mhm.
maybe call me a boomer, call me whatever you want, but like I like when things are practical and when they're not done through like phones and shit.
Mhm.
So the fact when they bring up the little diagram with the wooden Godzilla and they sink it and they bring it back, like thank you, I needed that because I learned better with fucking
Visual
toys,
representation.
but yeah, but I like this. It amplified my enjoyment of what was happening. So I like that they had the plan. I like that the doc is kind of like tricks them, like I knew the plan, but you didn't know that I knew. Ha.
Yeah.
And then they decide to make the plan to go to go, and it leads to two things that I really enjoyed about the movie. One, the kid from the plan, like they tell him that he's not gonna go because he broke his arm, I think, and they tell
No,
him like
they
no,
so
something
they
happened
tell
to him.
him. No, yeah, he did break his arm, but so they tell him
I
that
know what the
not.
line is. I was working towards that, man. Like
Oh, I'm
I was
sorry. I'm
getting
sorry.
there.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I like, but the excuse is that he's not going because he broke his arm. Yeah. Uh, sorry. Uh, but like I was going to get that. I was going to get there. Like, he breaks his arm or whatever, and they tell him like, oh, you cannot go. Like you gonna slow us down, whatever. And he has this great scene where he gets angry. He yells like, "I want to go! Like, take me! I want to defend my country! I want to die at the front line if necessary." And then the captain tells him probably one of my favorite lines of the movie, which is when he tells him like, "It is an honor to not have seen war. It is a privilege to not have seen war."
Mhm.
And that is a thing. That line needed to be said in that
Mhm.
moment, even if it doesn't get through his stuck skull, like bone,
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that we have that scene of like, hey, we are aware of what we're doing. We don't want to do it, but we might as well. There's a great scene when after they tell them the plan, they're like, none of you are obligated to stay. Like some of you can leave if you want
Yeah.
to. And if you do leave, and then if you like stay and ask like, how sure are we that this is gonna work? And they go like, we're not, like straight up, we're not sure. And they
But
go
we're
like,
gonna try.
well, and they go like, well, beats being in war.
It beats knowing that you're gonna die.
Yeah, beats
Uh,
knowing that we're not trying. And I
um,
like that. And then it leads to Koichi reaching out to his previous
Tachibana.
um to Tachibana, yeah. He reaches out to him to help him repair the
Oh,
plane.
well, I'm sorry,
What's
not
that?
Tachibana. It's gonna be where is it? The technician that helped him with the goddamn. Oh, no, not Shikishima. Oh yeah, it is Tachibana. My bad.
It
It is
is
Tachibana.
Tachibana,
It's my
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reached out to Tachibana. He angers him on purpose. He says like, "Oh, you're the reason people like that." Because he knew if he was like, "Hey, help me," he wouldn't have showed up. But if he calls him
Yeah.
a coward, he'll get mad. He'll come kick my ass.
By the
Um,
way, Tachibana, the actor,
yeah.
Munetaka Aoki, he was the voice for Rory Kenshin.
Really?
Yeah, the
Damn.
original Japanese. That's his voice.
Oh, dude, he plays such a great character. Too bad the creator was a piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, we can still admire the actor. He's pretty
yeah.
awesome.
He's good in this too. Yeah,
Um, but he so gets in contact. He's gonna work on the plane. Uh, Kochi in all but directly says like, "My war's not over, neither's yours. Like, we need to finish this." Essentially saying like, "I'm gonna kamikaze. I'm gonna fly that plane into Godzilla's mouth. If I can get it in there, I can kill him. I know I can."
yeah,
Um, to which Tachibana is all on board. Him and his team of mechanics, retrofit the plane with enough explosives to hopefully kill Godzilla. Should the kamikaze attack happen, while everyone else is arming up and they're preparing ships to try and battle Godzilla. And we get this awesome, awesome scene where the doc, they're like, okay, tomorrow's the day. We're gonna set the trap and we're gonna fight Godzilla. And there's almost dread in the air. And that's when Doc gives this very important and necessary speech. Dr. Noda says, you know, too long the government has treated life recklessly. You know, tanks that are not properly armored, planes without ejector seats, kamikaze pilots. You know, tomorrow we don't fight to die, we fight to live. So tonight when you go home, you're not going home because you're not going to come back. We're all going to come back. That's what we're going to try. We're coming back for life. Giving this rousing speech because even in the US versions of Godzilla, there's this understanding of you may not come back. In 2014, they say there's no extraction point. If you go and you may not die, you may die. Like understand this. This is a borderline suicide mission.
Mhm.
And in every other iteration, it is said as such, like be prepared for death. This is the first film that I can think of genuinely where they're like, no, we're gonna come back, all of us. We're gonna try.
Yeah.
And it's important because it is talking about certain topics of the Japanese government, the way that they did treat their soldiers back then, because this is not as fictionalized as you may think. Pilots that came back were seen as cowards. They were seen as dirty blood, as people that you should not try to reproduce with because they're cowards. It's in their blood, and they shamed them. And it's how do you shame someone who just wanted to live? How do you shame someone for that? Um, so this movie does a great job of setting that up, and then we get a great scene with Kochi and Tachibana in an airstrip preparing for a fight. Akiko wakes up with a card and goes to the neighbor, and the neighbor opens it, and it essentially has a lot of money, and it says, "Use this for Akiko because I'm not coming back." Like it's essentially his like goodbye letter.
Yeah.
He gets on the plane, and Tachibana is telling him, "Hey, here's how you deploy the weapons. Here's how you arm the missile. Here's how you do this." And then Kochi takes out the pictures of all the people that died on Odo Island, you know, and he shows like I carried this with me all these years. Like the war never ended for me.
Yeah.
And Tachibana is kind of touched, and he says, "Okay, here's how you arm the weapon, blah blah blah," and we leave it there.
Mhm.
And then we get maybe one of my favorite scenes. They're preparing to ship off the naval to try and trap Godzilla, and we get a fucking boat being thrown halfway across the goddamn harbor, and they're just like, "What do? We fight, we try."
Keep going.
So
Yeah.
we get. And people often accidentally think that the music is associated with Godzilla. It's not. The I'm gonna try to recreate it. The dun 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 da 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 da. That
Yeah.
is not Godzilla's theme. That in the original 54 is the theme of the Japanese army fighting Godzilla. That's meant to be their theme song to battle him. That's a
Hmm.
war cry.
Yeah.
But it was so iconic, it was so good that people associate it as Godzilla's theme song. His is the dun
Dun
dun dun.
dun dun dun. Yeah.
Yeah, but people associate both. No, one is to fight him. And I love how they reclaim that music in this instance to fight this horrifying monster. We're not cheering for Godzilla, we're cheering for the people, which is, I can't think of another film where we ever have other than Shin Godzilla. Um, but yeah, so that happens, and the plan's on, and they're trying to trap Godzilla while Kochi is distracting him. And he gets terrifyingly close several times. We get close-up shots and day shots of Godzilla.
That's
I'm
also what I
sorry,
really like
I've been
about
on
this
a
movie.
tangent. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, no, no.
I'm
That's
so
also what I
excited.
really like about the movie because I think, except for the beginning, except for the intro scene, all of Godzilla scenes are daytime scenes, and I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that because I like seeing what's happening. And a lot of other monster American movies, mostly like they keep it in the dark so you can't see shit. And so I like that I was able to see it because I wanted to see this Godzilla. We have this great scene where he starts to distract Godzilla and we get the two boats circling around him. And the whole scene, I am shaking because I'm like, are they gonna make it? Or are they not gonna make it? Like, what's gonna happen? And first we have first test, they sink him, which that ends up working for a bit. They're trying to read all of the like all the steps and everything, and we have this scene that it is the perfect length. It is perfectly like directed and perfectly moved to the point where you can see you never feel like it's taking too long or that it's not doing enough or that it's too fast. It's the perfect amount of the are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make it? They're gonna make it. And then the kid comes in with another boat and with 1,000 other boats, like the whole community is coming in to help them.
Mhm.
And this is the moment that the movie made me think like, man, we are worth it. Like we as people, as humanity, like we are worth saving, man. We are so worth saving. And that is the best feeling that a movie can leave you with. And they all start helping out, and we start to see here the theme. The theme is riling. Koichi's flying around, seeing everything. He's thinking maybe there's a possibility he won't have to sacrifice himself for this. And then it doesn't work. Godzilla is moving again. He's charging up again,
He's
and so they
callous.
bring
All
him
the white
back.
is callous.
Yeah, so they bring him back, and here's where it got. I don't want to say goofy, but the way that he looked with the floaties, it was cute. Like I'm not gonna lie, like it was cute. Um, yeah, like he looked like a plushie in that moment. Like he's so big and his arms are so tiny and he had like it was adorable. And but he's there, he's like frozen, and we're like they gave us like a moment to like let it sink in, like, holy shit, did it work? Did it work? Are we good? Are we good? It's
Nope.
like did you see Prince of Egypt?
I have not.
Okay, so there's a scene near the end of Prince of Egypt when they do like the parting of the Red Sea, and after the sea like comes back, all of the people that Moses just freed, they all turn to see the sea, and it's all like coming back, and it's a full minute of silence. Think about that, a full minute of silence in an animated movie that's technically supposed to be for kids, but it is for everyone. I'll dare say
Mhm.
it's more for adults, but it's a full minute of silence of just them all like kind of soaking it all in. And they do kind of something like that similar here where they go like, are we good? Are we not? What's happening? And then it doesn't. Like he starts freaking out. Like they all start to think like, God damn it, we had a plan B. What's gonna happen now? And then they all see Koichi just straight up flying
The
towards the
silence.
thing. Yeah,
The
that
silence.
silence
And
of
they all think they're gonna die. He's charging up and they're
yeah,
ready to accept it. Even the kids just like,
yeah. And then
and all you hear is the plane
oh, you hear the
buzzing through.
plane. And then also before that, we see the neighbor get a letter. And she
Mhm.
starts to get like, and we're all thinking like, what's happened? What does the letter mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And then Jess turns to me and goes like, is she alive? Like, what if she's alive? And I and
And
I, and,
Koji
and,
dies.
what if he does like, no, don't fucking do this to me, movie. Like, don't do this to me. And then he flies straight into Godzilla's mouth, and we see the explosion, and there's silence, and then we're all like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And then Doc, God bless you, Doc, just points to the sea, to the sky, goes, look at that, you beautiful bastard, look at that. And we see Koichi deciding to live, grabbing on that parachute, and it's so beautiful. I was so happy in that moment. Like, and
I
they fuck you, Toho, you made me care so
so
much
I
about
want to
this little
compliment
guy. Yeah.
the editing. The editing of all of these scenes was perfect because if you knew that that letter said that Noriko was
Yeah.
alive, you think, oh, he's gonna die and she's gonna live and raise the baby, right? Or
Yeah.
you don't know what the letter means. It's one way or the other. And then the explosion happens, and they don't immediately cut to him. They show the explosion, and everyone's still devastated. Because again, you don't know, is he alive or dead? And then you see the airplane, and you see the backtrack of events where Tachibana tells him, this plane has an ejector seat. You pull this lever, and you can eject. Pick life. Choose to live. We've suffered enough. Our war can end, but we don't have to die. Um, so he chooses life, blows Godzilla's head clean off his fucking shoulders. Godzilla essentially disintegrates in with the atomic blast. His body disintegrates. Tachibana touches back on land, And then that's when the neighbor Soriko? Am I
Wait,
no
wait, 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 wait. I wanted to mention one more thing that happened there.
shoot.
There is a moment there after they see that he's alive. They all kind of turn. They all, they're all glad that he's alive, but then they all turn to Godzilla, and what do they all do?
Oh, they salute him.
They salute Godzilla because even in that last moment, they realize what they did. They did save themselves, but they took something. They took their life. They took Godzilla's life.
Yeah.
And there's a moment there where they all in silence, because if that was an American movie, they would just all be cheering. But because it's like it has a different sensibility.
Somber.
Yeah, they see it as like if Godzilla was the other side of the war and they just saw that side lose, they're not gonna go and make fun of it. They all just salute, took their hats down, and had also a moment where they're like, you know, we're done. We're done with this.
Yeah.
And I love that moment. Like I never thought I was gonna get a moment like that ever in a movie, and I love that we had it. And then we have like the moment when they come back to land, but I like that moment existed there.
Yeah. There's also a moment, so he lets go of his guilt, chooses to live.
Yeah,
And then they end up finding out that Noriko's alive. They get a telegram of where she is, which people have been pointing out. How could they not know? Didn't you check the hospitals? Dude, we didn't have internet back then. There were a
yeah.
thousand hospitals. He couldn't go to every single one. Also, did you see the blast radius? She was probably dead. I would have assumed that she was dead.
Hmm.
But yeah, regardless. Um, she lives and she asks him a question: is your war over? And he hugs her and he cries and they cry. But we see a little bit of black on her neck, and that's left
Yeah.
ambiguous. The director said that he added that as ambiguity. Did she survive because of that? Because she was infected? Because Godzilla could regenerate. Is that why she's
Yeah.
alive, or is she infected and she's gonna die? Because also remember how I mentioned the black rain earlier, how it infected people? That was the start. When it infected you, you had black bruises around you. If you survived the nuclear explosion, your skin was irradiated and it was black. The original Godzilla's design, the black burns, were meant to invoke the look of people that survived the original atomic bomb blast. It was all it's all fucking tied together. Um, but yeah, and meanwhile, a chunk of Godzilla's flesh begins to regenerate beneath the ocean.
Yeah.
Um,
I could
and
have done without that if I'm honest, but I understand that it's a Godzilla movie and it has to end like that.
so initially they didn't know if they were going to do a sequel, and even now, because Shin Godzilla was a one shot, Godzilla One
Yeah.
might be a one shot too. It's been 7 years since Shin Godzilla came out. Um,
Don't say that.
well, oh yeah, it's been a minute.
Don't
So
say that.
yeah, but they don't
Oh.
know when they're gonna do the next Godzilla movie. Toho even said like there's no plans to do it next year or even the year after that. Like we're gonna take our time.
I'm cool if this becomes like the definitive Godzilla movie for a while. Like I think this movie could be watched by people who don't care about watching a movie in Japanese, that don't care about watching a Godzilla movie. I think this is literally the movie for everyone. In the same way that it's a little weird, but it's a movie for everyone. The same way that Everything Everywhere All at Once was that movie last year. I think
Yeah,
this could be the movie this year. Hate that it came out so late in the year. Truly deserves more attention. It just came out here on the 28th, and I went to see Aquaman because I had cousins that were visiting all over, and we all wanted to go see a movie together. My idea was take him to go see Godzilla, but they wanted to see fucking Aquaman, so we went to see fucking Aquaman, and a ton of people were there for Godzilla. Like
yeah.
a ton of people went to see Godzilla. I know because they were giving away special tickets, like special novelty memory
What? Fuck
tickets.
you.
Yeah, I think they might. If I go see it, I'll try to get you one. But
I will pay you. I will pay you tens of dollars for that.
I'll let you know what they look like and everything. But yeah, they were giving away like special like memory tickets for that and for Boy and the Heron. They were giving them for both. Um, but yeah, Jesus, it's hard to finish talking about this movie, but
I
it's
mean,
great. Man, it's fucking
Man,
great. Like you were absolutely right. This was so worth it. So fun seeing it in theaters. So fun experiencing it. I This was awesome. This was a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10.
I challenge anyone
Man,
to watch this movie and not love it.
I was crying by the end. Like that moment when Noriko asks him, like, "Are you finished with your war?" Great. And Koichi's not the stepdad. He's the dad that stepped up. Love this movie. It made a dent in my top 10 of the year. It made me rethink the whole list. So that's gonna be a fun thing to do
Same.
when we do it.
Same. Do you want? When should we? We got to plan out the top 10 because that's going to be a long ass. That might be a 2 hour podcast.
I think I was rewatching the one from 2022,
Yeah.
and we took like an hour and a half to do it. It's not gonna be that long.
That's what. Yeah, dude. This one might be 2 hours because we got a lot to say about movies. But yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. What would you rate it?
A plus, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. There's no question it'll be on my top 10, but the question is where's it going to land? And that's going to be very interesting because there's another movie this past year that I really enjoyed. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Hell
year's top
yeah.
10 is going to be a bitch.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be fun. So but yeah, that's Godzilla minus one. We'll see. Hopefully maybe we could do like one more episode before we do our top 10. I
You
do
want to do
wanna
what? Do you want to do Aquaman next week or Rebel
I
Moon?
oh god, I don't want to talk about Rebel Moon. Yeah, we'll do Aquaman. Have you seen it already?
No, I this is
You
the
haven't
first.
seen it.
It's the first and only time in the DCEU that I've not seen a movie on its opening day, let alone opening weekend or opening week.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I was so
Well,
fucking busy.
let me tell you something. Let me give you a little preview.
Uh,
Okay. You know Carl Sagan,
no,
the Cosmos guy?
no.
No. Okay. He was a very smart guy. We'll just leave it at that.
Uh,
And he once said there's a possibility that the universe will end with a bang or with a whimper.
oh, and this one's a
Okay.
whimper.
This movie ended DCU in a fart.
I'm telling you, they should have finished with the Flash resetting everything. That would have made more
Yeah.
sense.
Well, if only the Flash had reset everything and didn't decide to go out with a joke. So we'll talk about Aquaman next time. Maybe. We'll see. Uh yeah. All right. Well, sorry to end this on a disappointing note, but yeah, watch Godzilla. It's great.
Watch it twice.
And watch the Percy Jackson show. It's a new episode today.
I heard the show sucks.
Who told you that?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Who
We will
fucking
definitely
told
review
you
that. We will
Who
definitely
fucking told
review it
you
as
that?
well.
All right, sounds great. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And this was the Rollback signing up for another year of nonstop movie and show and other shit talking. No strikes, no stops, just full on nerding out. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to be here. Good night.
Bye, everyone.